Hello YouTube, it's Tom and welcome to a new Synth Anatomy video. At Swing Modular Fest I took the opportunity to test the Teenage Engineering Pocket Modular 400 synthesizer. First you can decide whether it's a review or just a second impression, because I could only spend almost a day with it, so better say one night and one morning. What I can say already at the beginning, it's the best synthesizer of this year. No. And it's very far away from this, unfortunately, but more about this now in this video, so let's go! It all started at NAMM 2019, when Teenage Engineering introduced a very surprising the Pocket Modular synthesizer lineup, all very colorful and available as DIY kit. Unfortunately, it could only test a build unit and not the DIY kit. The 170 is the small one, so the red one, the 400 is the largest and the yellow, and the 16 is the sequencer keyboard. In this video we focus on the 400, although the model review is also valid for the 170. The 400 features 3 oscillators, a noise generator, mixer, filter, 2 ADSR envelopes, 2 VCAs, a random generator, a speaker box, a 16-step sequencer, and a power package for batteries on the backside. The 400 system is solid and made of light metal with a yellow finish. Visually it looks very stylish and fits not only in the studio but also in a modern living room. One of the highlights of a modular synthesizer is of course the large number of knobs that allows you to interact directly with the sound. In the 170 and 400 system, however, is that not the highlight in my opinion. Both systems have Lego similar knobs installed which do not make fun to play with. In my opinion, they look unattractive and does not give the user the same feeling as with a Eurorack synthesizer. Sure, you can pimp this with Lego accessory like car wheels. My question is here, do you need this in a modular synth? Personally, I don't need it. As already mentioned, the 400 model has 16 different modules, but according to the developer, they don't offer reverse polarity production, which is not a great and clever decision at all, especially with regard to the target group of this system, beginners without modular synth experience. Particularly here, you should make sure that your product has a such security on board, like near every Eurorack module today. So here was saved at the wrong end. On the interface of the 400, it stands out that the developers wasted a lot of space in the oscillators in my opinion. All 3 oscillators are very large and are poorly equipped. The square oscillator has pulse width modulation, saw and sine each have FM on board. Also, since the oscillators each have several outputs and inputs, they can also be modulated. Not bad, but except knobs for tune, control and key, that was all. So much space for 3 oscillators, but so little to offer. Smaller extra sound features would have been exciting here. I don't understand why they have not created 3 small oscillator modules with various waveforms with PWM, FM or other controls. This remains of course a mystery. In that case there would have been room for other modules. The oscillators sound good, but nothing where you fell off the stool, rather a bread and butter analog sound. If you work with PWM and FM, they sound better and are more versatile. Especially the FM sounds quite nice here, but I often miss this point where I said, awesome, I need this now. Then there is a 3-channel mixer with 3 inputs and 1 output. Here is the model slim and optimally designed for the interface. Next we have a noise generator, which is on the bottom of the system, with 2 outputs for white and saw. Saw is a kind of sample and hold. The way to the noise generator is in my opinion too long. It would better fit in the upper third of the system. This makes patching easier. Next there's a low-pass filter with a 24 dB per octave characteristic with cutoff and resonance control. It offers also 1 input and 3 outputs and 2 modulation inputs with dedicated level controls. Again, I do not understand why the design must be so large for so few features. It is also limited to a simple low-pass filter with no possibility to adjust the slope or to put it on high-pass or bandpass. This is missing here, especially in such a beginner system. With the 2 CV inputs you can make it a bit better and make it also more interesting. Would it be noticed under 10 other filters? No, unfortunately. It's very simple without much own character. Then there are 2 small classic VCA modules with 2 outputs each and the ability to open and close it with CV. On the modulation side it offers 2 classic ADSR envelopes with 2 outputs, an LFO with 4 outputs and a random generator. The envelopes are very simple and do not offer something special. A looping function, for example, could have been built in here, which could offer a bit more complex modularity without it to be more difficult. Once again, missed opportunity. Same picture for the LFO. Yes, 1 LFO, and it's also very simple designed. It includes only square and triangle, with which one is also very limited, also as beginner. Other waveforms would have been more exciting here. Since you only have 1 knob for the speed, you are very limited on the speed of all 4 outputs. Also the sync function would have been nice here. Next we have a random generator with 2 outputs, 1 input and clock. Nice add-on which brings more flexibility and craziness in the system. However, this must be used with an input. I would have liked it better if one can use it without any input. That would be easier, especially for beginners without any modular experience. Finally, there is a simple sequence on board that I just did not enjoy. Sorry, teenage engineering. There are good reasons for this, in my opinion. First, the sequencer does not provide any real visual feedback. There is a small lamp that does not help much. so the operation is very unintuitive and doesn't make fun. This is also due to the tiny knobs with which you can set a sequencer. I often felt like a blind musician when programming the sequencer. Add to that the relatively bad labeling to the controls and inputs and outputs. For example, ask yourself at the beginning, where is the CV and gate? For a bloody beginner, certainly not so easy, plus keep in mind there's no reverse polarity on board. Teenage Engineering also use binary inputs to change the sequencer. Nice feature in my opinion, only not for beginners, directly accessible. Do not forget to read the manual here. Also there is a speaker box with a built-in amp on board, so you can make music anywhere without headphones. This sounds pretty good for the size true. The System 400 gets power via supplied power pack, where you can insert 8 AA batteries. I think a good idea, which is unfortunately also implemented poorly. This pack looks very DIY-ish, so you can see the individual cables of it, and it's loosely behind the synth. There is also an internal fastener on board, but this one doesn't hold perfect when testing. Also important to know is here, Teenage Engineering does not provide a power supply. For a synth of €600, not a perfect decision in my opinion. Every cheap synth from other companies comes with a power supply. Rethink this decision, Teenage. But how does the System 170 and 400 sound? So very good from the pure analog sound. When you consider how compact everything is built, it sounds great. But the sound cannot move mountains. It's a basic analog synth that sounds relatively nice, but not really unique. The market offers many other synths that sound more special and characterful in my opinion. Since the module selection is very small at the moment, the sound possibilities are also very limited. You can get to know the possibilities of analog synthesis well here, but you can go very far. For beginners it is sufficient, for experienced musicians it gets quickly boring, because other synths can do more for the price. What I didn't say yet, the system comes with TI's cables, but you can apparently also use the system with classic era cables. Unfortunately, I don't have tested, so sorry for this. In total, the Teenage Engineering Pocket Modular 400 system could not convince me. Although it can score from the outside with a very own and stylish design, it is unspectacular inside. To be honest, for serious musicians, it's not an instrument that I can recommend. However, if you want to have an eye-catcher in your studio or even your living room that can even make sounds, you are right here. In my opinion, the experience of building a modular synthesizer by itself is more in the foreground here than the musical or synthesis factor. Positive is the unique design, DIY factor, the sound quality, and battery operation. Negative are here, for example, the missing reverse polarity production, that's very important here, the super simple modules, the Lego style knobs, the missing proper labeling of some modules, and much more. For the demanded price of almost 600 euro, however, the System 400 is too expensive for these offers. Sure, it is a complete battery-powered modular analog synthesizer that you can take anywhere with you and set up. Perfect for schools or even technology museums where you can learn as bloody beginner in workshops analog synthesis. However, if you want to work more complex, we quickly reach the limits of the unit. Even the often unfinished modules do not encourage a long game fun. Teenage Engineering is known for its beautiful and clever designed instruments like the OP1. Beautifully designed is the 400 in yellow, but all this creative input from the former products is lacking here. For me, it looks like the developers absolutely want to benefit from the modular synth trend before it ends. Unfortunately, the result is not great. In my opinion, the developers spent more time in making the synthesizer look nice and different than fine-tuning the engine. For me, it's a product for the hardcore fans of Teenage Engineering and not one with which you can attract a lot of new ones. But what do you think about the Pocket Modular 400 by Teenage Engineering? Let me know in comments below. It would be cool to discuss with you. And as usual, big thanks for watching and for community support. I hope to see you very soon in one of my next videos. Bye!